Hello and welcome back. This is the topical discussion on the Morning Breeze on NBS Television. My name is Simon Kagwanjala, and well, we're also weighing in on the raging debate on homosexuality in Uganda, which is taking another twist today, with questions as to whether Uganda is indeed becoming a safe haven for homosexuals. President Museveni on Sunday, while attending the inauguration of the new Archbishop of the Church of Uganda at Namirembe Cathedral, insisted that, well, he had no problem with homosexuals as long as they did not promote the practice. Well, the media is also awash with stories of soccer ace Chris Mubiru molesting kids and, having carnal knowledge with underage, children deemed to be underage. We bring in the studio this morning one of the gay rights activists, Mr. Should I call you Mr.? Sure. Pepe Julian Onzima. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
Good
having
morning.
Me. Morning to you.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay. You are a transgender.
What shows that I'm gay?
You are a transgender, yes, and you're a gay rights activist and an outspoken lesbian, homosexual. How can I describe you?
I am Pepe Julian Onzima. I'm an LGBTI
What's that?
activist. I'm a human rights defender. I'll get to what it is. I'm a human rights defender, currently focusing on LGBTI issues. LGBTI means L is for lesbian, which is described as women who are attracted to each other, females who are attracted to each other, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And then gay is two males who are emotionally, physically, sexually attracted to each other. Bisexuals are usually attracted to persons of their own sex as well as the opposite sex. This one usually it's not simultaneously. It's one at a time. One also tends to, at a certain period of time, overweighs the other. Then transgender is basically an umbrella term to describe people who do not conform to the sex that they are assigned at birth. Mm-hmm. An umbrella term in the sense that there are people who are called transsexuals, they are transvestites, they are cross-dressers, and they fall under this umbrella. There are people who dress up to express themselves as the sex that they were not assigned at birth. Then there are those who actually go and have reassignment of that particular sex that they were assigned at birth. Intersex is people who are born with two sexual organs, and it can be expressed either externally, as in you can visibly see it, or internally, as in the organs can be, one of them can be displayed internally. But I'm not a medical expert, so I can't give you more than that for that. But
and where do you lie?
The common thing, the word they use to describe intersex people is hermaphrodite. But in my line of work, that is derogative. Where do I lie? I'm a transgender person.
Transgender. You were initially male or female?
The sex that was assigned to me at birth was female.
And you opted to become male?
Not exactly opting. It's something that I have been since I was young. But yeah, in terms of expression, it's who I am now.
How did you discover that you were actually meant to be male?
Well, growing up, you know, a child is born, and when you're growing up, you're within a society that has a certain structure, yeah, and you see yourself basically fitting more in a certain box. I said I was born female, but my expression at that time and my internal sense of myself was male.
So have you realigned yourself into being a male, or you still share both sexes?
I am within transition.
You're within transition?
Yes.
Now, we're looking at the raging debate. You're a gay rights activist. Why should someone be gay?
Just for the record, I am not a gay rights activist. I believe there's nothing like gay rights. There is human rights. There is human rights. And there are humans who are gay and those who are not gay. So I'm a human rights activist who is advocating for equality for even people who have different sexual orientation or gender identity. So
as we stand today, are you dating any female?
Yes, I am.
You have a girlfriend?
Yes, I do.
While in transition, you're having a girlfriend?
Yes.
Do you perform the natural obligations?
I'm not sexually active right now.
So what are you doing with this lady?
By choice.
By choice?
Yeah. I've just not, I've chosen not to engage.
Doesn't that make you gay?
What do you mean, doesn't that make me gay? I am male and attracted to a female.
So who is gay?
I described a gay person earlier.
Someone attracted to
the same sex.
To the same sex.
Yeah, mentally, emotionally, physically, sexually.
So as a human rights activist, what do you think of gays? Are they normal? Is it normal to be gay?
Absolutely. I mean, most people, we had a chat a little earlier, and gay people are born that way. They are born gay. Yeah? Because you tend to realize yourself as, or find out these changes in you when you're a child. But because of the structures of the society as it is now about male and female, all those boxes that are placed there, if as a male I'm attracted to another male, when we're growing up, the structure is, okay, Simon has a son. Simon will marry, they sort of betroth you as kids, you know. They will be like, Simon's son will marry Pepe's daughter, yeah? But then Pepe's daughter or Simon's son realizes that as he's growing up, actually this thing is not working. You know, he's not attracted to my daughter, but he's attracted to my son. But because society dictates that it should be my daughter with your son, then people tend to hide who they are. And then people think that it's a choice. But the whole feeling, the physical, the emotional begins at a very early stage. And when people get to an age of puberty where in most cases people get sexually active, most gay people do not express with the same sex due to fear, due to because they do not want to be seen as not being part of the society. But gay people are actually born with this orientation.
Is this a disorder?
Absolutely
or something
not.
Natural?
It's not. We have records from the World Health Organization. You know, a team of experts who also thought it was a mental disorder. And later on, it was scraped off the list of disorders. And I'm not just using that as an SI unit or a yardstick to say that it's not a disorder, but it also backs up the fact that it's not a disorder. I have lived for a certain period of time. I lived as a gay person because it was the easiest way for me to come out to my family to say, I'm a lesbian. and not a transgender. You see.
And how did it feel?
What?
Being gay then?
It's normal. I mean, it's human. There's nothing strange about it. What is strange about it is the way people react when you tell them you're not like them.
What do you think of the stereotype that this gay culture has received in Uganda?
It's very disheartening. We are humans, we are Ugandans, we've been born here, we've been raised here, we've gone to school here. Some of us have been forced to get married here. So this is a country for all of us. But the stereotype is really hurtful because as a transgender person, I've described to you that I'm attracted to female. That if it came down to my sexual orientation, I'm heterosexual. But when people look at me, they automatically think, the automatic thing is that I'm gay, and they will attack me as a gay person.
Do you feel you deserve sympathy when whatever you're doing is very unnatural, biblically and socially, naturally, it's unnatural?
I think it's the fear of the unknown. People who do not understand homosexual people think all these things about homosexuality. And people normally go straight away to thinking about sex. And that is where the danger is. And because of a lot of ignorance as well, it's a bit difficult. I wouldn't say we deserve or want sympathy, but I believe that as Africans, as Ugandans, we are a tolerant country. We are our nature is actually
how many people are you
Ugandans.
Speaking for?
I'm talking about Ugandans. I'm speaking as a Ugandan.
And how many Ugandans are into this practice?
What do you mean practice?
Okay, this culture.
Let me rephrase it and answer it this way. How many homosexual people are there in this country? There are no statistics. There've been guesses for about 3% to 5% of the Ugandan population. But obviously with space, us being pushed away from space, to be able to raise awareness, it's very difficult for us to carry out a survey to find out how many we actually are in this country.
So are you craving for attention or recognition?
Craving is not the word I would use. I would say that we are working, I am working towards the liberty, the equality of all persons, and no person should be discriminated or stigmatized because they are of a different sexual orientation or gender identity. So it is about equality, which is guaranteed by the Ugandan Constitution.
Don't you think gays, homosexuals, lesbians, transgenders should instead be reoriented other than receiving all this kind of recognition? Because society seems to deem them as unnatural, as people who are maybe lost.
Simon, you're seated with me right now. Yes. How unnatural is that?
Well, it's natural, but I'm just baffled.
Well, we are not craving for attention. And if you look at the attention that, that we are getting, it's totally negative. You know, it's of how unnatural we are, how un-African, how un-Ugandan we are, all those things. And, you know, it also baffles me if we, with all this negative press, all the negativity, why would I choose to be who I am?
Before we go for a break, President Museveni said that you can go ahead with whatever you're doing with your homosexuality for as long as you don't come out in the open. Do you really feel he came out in support of what you're doing?
No, I don't think he came in support because for me, I feel partly it's like giving and taking at the same time before you touch whatever you're being given. It's taken away. He says no killing, no persecution, as in homosexuals won't be killed or persecuted. But he adds Uganda is intolerant to promotion of homosexuality.
Right.
And if we go to what the anti-homosexuality bill states right now about promotion of homosexuality, if he says no promotion of homosexuality, he's basically saying the persecution will still be there. Why do I say this? Because it means you can't speak about it. We cannot have this kind of debate because it will be deemed promotion of homosexuality. If I went and sought services somewhere and a person knows that I am a homosexual, they would be promoting because they are basically enhancing my existence. So that would be promotion. So for me, I'm not excited about what he said, and I don't think it's exactly.
Are you living under fear?
Yes, I am.
So why don't you shift and live a normal life?
Where should I shift? This is who I am. Why should I live in a form that I'm not? Why should I do that? I think it's my right to live as I am, and I'm a citizen of this country. So I'll basically do whatever I have to do to make sure that I can live the way I am.
All right, let's take a quick break, and when we return, we'll be reading out your comments. We'll of course be hearing from an anti-gay activist also telling us his side of the story. Good morning. Hello and welcome back. This morning we're getting into a very controversial topic. That's homosexuality in Uganda. President Museveni says gay people should not be killed or persecuted in Uganda as a section of MPs push for the anti-homosexuality legislation. Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, promised that this would be a Christmas gift to Ugandans. The fundamental question is, should homosexuals be given attention in Uganda? Before we proceed with Pepe Julian Onzima, a sexual minorities activist, would that be appropriate? Human rights defender. Well, we have Pastor Semper online, an anti-gay activist, to tell us his side of the story. Hello, Pastor.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Good to have you online. How are you today?
I am doing well. First, I'm really extremely distressed that we are not having the anti-sodomy bill passed in Parliament. We have been promised that it will be passed by Christmas. Second, we are under tremendous attacks. People who are funding these groups, such as this daughter of ours, Pepe, and so much money is being powered into the country.
Pepe is a man.
Unfortunately, Pepe is a young woman who is suffering from gender identity disorder. She is a girl who has been misled and confused to think she's a man. And so you can see the way she's dressing, the way she's coming across, is trying to be a man. But you know, Pepe, for me as a psychologist, I know that there are people, we have so many young girls who suffer from this. It is a disorder, and some of these people, they press their breasts, or they go and get their breasts cut off, they cut their hair. Then you end up with a pretty-looking young lady who is acting like a man. So what they need, these are people who are suffering from mental disorder. They need psychological, psychiatrical, and spiritual help. And the department, Butabika, for people like this one, so that they can be helped to come out of their madness.
Pastor.
Yes.
Why don't you sympathize with such people who do not opt, but who are naturally, according to Onzima, he feels it's a natural calling for them to be men, or for him to be what he is now?
There is nothing natural about using boya and biringanya in your private parts. Eh? There is nothing natural about putting a man's genital inside another man's excretory system. There is nothing natural about Onzima be denying us a chance to have children and grandchildren. There is nothing natural at all about sodomy. It is a genocide. And when you add sodomy to HIV, you come up with a black genocide of Africans. There is nothing natural. This is a boy, this is a girl trying to act like a boy. But you know, a trouser does not make you a man.
Pastor!
And you know, using cucumbers, we have many of our girls in schools.
Pastor!
Their urinary systems, they can no longer have reproduce because they have torn their rectums, they have torn. If you take this girl Onzima, when you check her, she may be suffering from the same issues. I've been in Mulago all this time. I have young boys who are wearing diapers. But you know, because they wear these nice clothes, you don't know what is going on.
Pastor,
but
now
these
let's hear
people
from
are
Onzima.
sick.
Pastor, excuse me,
These
Pastor.
people are sick. They need,
Pastor,
not only do they need our sympathy,
Pastor, can
they
I
need
ask you
us
to stay
guide them.
online? Can I ask you to stay online? Then we hear from Onzima. Onzima, could you react to Pastor Sempa?
No,
he
I will
sounds
not.
very abrasive.
I will not. I choose not to react and give Sempa audience. I am not going to react to what he's saying.
Do you
Please,
feel
you see,
offended?
she's afraid of the truth.
Do you feel offended?
The truth is, this is a young woman who is confused to think that she's a
Pastor,
boy.
why don't you sound
Okay.
sympathetic to a man who seems to be going through a transition of sorts?
What is their name in Luganda? Like this one, she says she's intersex. What is that in Luganda? Mukazi Musajja, because for me as a pastor, I also know that people are oppressed by demons. A demon comes and sits on them. Muzimu gujja ne guwambala ne gumugamba nti kati gwe omukazi oli musajja oba gwe omusajja oli mukazi. Kati ono waliwo omuzimu ogujja ne gumutuulako ne gumugamba nti oli muki oli musajja. We have these issues, and if I can get a chance to put Onzima, I will.
Oh, sorry, we lost you along the way. Onzima, I realize you're offended by the pastor's statement, and it's not the first time that he's making such reactions to your cause. Do you really feel your cause is necessary in the world?
It's absolutely necessary, and there are allegations that the pastor is making. That's why I was saying I do not want to go into that because he's already misled so many people, and I'm a bit disappointed that he came onto this show. But also for the sake of debate, maybe it gives me an opportunity to put something right, and that's the mix, the misinformation about sexual violence and sexual orientation. Sodomy, they keep saying sodomy, sodomy, sodomy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sodomy is one of the contents, or is one of, yes, it's one of the contents of homosexuality.
Sodomy, as it is normally a description of sexual violence, canon knowledge of same-sex people, or canon knowledge. In most cases, it's anal sex that is referred to. Yeah? Mm-hmm. And I told you earlier, there are people who do not even practice. They're homosexual, they have a different sexual orientation to the one that is popularly promoted, and not everyone practices this. And the whole promotion of this propaganda of
How do you feel when two men go to bed and start romancing? How do you feel?
That is none of my business. What they do in their privacy is none of my business. What I do is respect people as they are. And I'm even respectful enough to try and create awareness about this confusion that the pastor is making about sexual violence and sexual orientation. He's talking about people who have diapers and so on. There's so many people who have practiced and they are not. And I'm really disheartened that the pastor keeps parading around people's children, claiming they have been sexually violated by homosexuals. There's this whole notion that homosexuals are pedophiles. They are sexual predators and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what
But
experience has revealed.
no, there are so many heterosexual people who abuse heterosexual people who there's so many reports of defilement, some in our neighborhood that do not make it to the papers. Why I feel this is a
Are you
propaganda?
morally right?
Just listen to me. I need to put this correct. There's a lot of molestation of girls and boys, yes, and we have an act that protects or can be used to prosecute such people. And just for the pastor and his clique or his group to try and focus that the boy child is more violated than the girl child, for me, I think
but is it justifiable for someone to sodomize someone's daughter or someone's son?
No, absolutely no. That is what I'm telling you. Defilement, rape, any form of sexual exploitation or violence is absolutely unacceptable.
Do you agree that
I don't care if it's male to male, female to female, male to female, or female to male, as long as it is violence against somebody?
Now, Pepe,
it is strictly
do you agree that to some people this gay orientation is a disorder and they need correction?
Thank you. That is what people think because the public has been misinformed about who we are. If you take time and actually spend time with a gay person, you realize that all these things that you think about gay people are not true. They are not true. And the people who are trying to, who are constantly promoting these anti-gay sentiments within Ugandans are doing that because they do not want you to talk to us. They do not want you to have this kind of dialogue. They do not want you to know that we actually make good friends, that we're actually good children of our parents. They do not want you to see that part.
Do you feel normal?
I am absolutely normal. I am absolutely normal. I smile, I laugh, I fall sick, I get well, I seek
You exercise conjugal rights, do you?
I told you earlier on, I am not. But I do. I have, and I will when I choose to, yes.
How will you do it?
What do you mean, how will I do it?
Because nature cannot allow you.
What do you mean nature cannot allow me? I am attracted to someone sexually. That is nature allowing me.
Why do you recruit young boys and girls into this gay activism?
There is no such thing as recruitment of young people or adults or anything like that. What is recruitment, first of all? When you ask me about recruitment, what do you mean by recruitment?
I mean, trying to put them into your system, teaching them what to do, how to go about it.
We do not do that. And actually, what has been happening is since these allegations of recruitment have been coming out, there's so many people who have been, contacting us, seeking help. We've saved lots of people.
Before we proceed, let's take another caller from, rather, Pastor Sempa is back online for just a couple of minutes.
Simon.
For just a couple of minutes,
Simon.
Hello, Pastor. Yes, you're back. But Pastor, could you kindly be sympathetic towards?
I don't need Sempa's sympathy. I don't.
Sympathy for this girl who's confusing us. Ono muwala abuzabuza ffe. Okusooka njagala okubuulira abantu bonna abawuliriza mu zabwereere okuva e Bulaaya ayina ka ofiisi ke wano ku Crested Tower. Owulira balina ssente empya n'enkadde basiiba mu pate batula ku kompyuta ne baba traininga kati atambula nsi yonna bamuwa midaali lwakola ki kulya bisiyaga. Singa omubuuza nti olina ku musiri gw'olima olina ku bufumbo bw'okola bali awo ku ntino intersex. Ekyokubiri abantu bano babuzaabuza ono omusajja Chris Mubiru alidde bisiyaga n'atwonoonera eggwanga ono mwana yandize n'atwetondera nti banange mutusonyiwe muffe makkati tulina emisege tuli abaana ebisiyaga tubawa ssente ne tubavuga empanka kati ono alina ssente empya n'enkadde owulira ambuladen bamuwa biza za bwereere abazungu bamugamba oli wakabi azze okubeera agent y'okubuzaabuza abaana baffe naye nze ekinnuma baana bali mu boarding schools kati bano babasindikira ne babawa zi magazini ne babawa ebirala tulina abaana be tulina beeteeka bibbiriŋŋanya emabega beeteeka koti mu bitundu byabwe ebyekyama ne bayulika ono tabikubuulira nze kankubuulira ebyama by'abasiya bagenda ne beekomba emabega ne beekomba bbi ekintu ekyo kirungi abasiyazi kasite batandika okwevuga obulwadde siriimu obutambula olwo omusajja Chris Mubiru oyo omuwala bannange yandibadde afukamira erenya n'okwenenya nze musabira busabizi nti gwe onzima Juli Pepe simanyi dajja bakuzaala owulira kubanga singa obadde mu kika kyaffe twandikuŋŋaanye okusooka ne tukugoba ekisooka ekyokubiri twandibadde tutandika okukugobamu emizimu weetaaga residential camp ey'okumukubamu emizimu ekyokusatu twanditandise okukebera ssente zonna ezo zaalina azijjawa mulabe badde ku Facebook ye onagenze simanyi wa Clinton wonakwata amabeere g'ebifaananyi simanyi ali Netherlands wonage tatereera bali South Africa bali eri mu bupatepate n'alyoka bakuŋŋaanya abaana baffe kubayingiza mu bisiyaga olwo Chris Mubiru lwaki yali akwata zi vidiyo bakwata vidiyo bange evidence eri abasponsa baabwe ti mu butuufu bali ebisiyaga abayo omuwala bw'omukebera emimwa mikalu owulira lwaki yeekomberera kwekomberera kuba talina kasoro bw'omukebera ayambadde empale naye talina kasoro naye yeefuula omusajja okitegeera kati obugwagwa obwo ne yeetandika okubuuza abaana w'omukazi n'omusajja nti abuzaabuuza nti nja kukuwasa kati bufumbo kyobwo oleete omuwala omwanjule ng'oyo kati oyo n'omuleeta simanya nti ogenda kwanjula ewaffe bamuli emiggo n'ebyo simanya byayogera intersex kika kyaffe mu Uganda wano kati era bwe bagamba bakubira president we yatandikira yasooka n'abagamba nti mwe bakola embaga wano ewandegeya era bategeka embaga endala wulira mbumwe yabagamba bakola embaga ewandegeya naga tujja bakuba amasekerawe ebyobusirusiru president ne bamukubira essimu ne pratisa ennaku ezo n'agamba nti mugende slow mugende lwaki bano bakolera David Cameron bakolera European Union bakoze simanya quota trade balina document ez'abazungu bakukuta enkya n'emisana naye nze kyensaba mu kifo ky'okumuyimusa otuyambye nnyo okumugjayo tumulabe omuwala ono ye sampo eraga ki ekyonoonese mu ggwanga lyaffe nsaba Mukama atuyambe abaana bano abafuuse emisege nze banzigulako omusango gwa Amerika mbumbabuulira enjiri ne banyiiza owulira era agenda kuba wano agenda awandiike kale Pastor Sempa agulira enjiri era ayagala tutta tetwagala tubalokole twagala tubaddemu omuzimu ogwo gubatuddemu ogwo gukutuddemu ogukulowooza nti gw'oli musajja ate ng'oli mukazi ekintu ekyo kyekirina okukimanya nebbiriŋŋanya mumulekerawo mukozesa ne karoti mulekerawo zikozesa ne kasooli okumwesonseka emabega eyo gyebeteekayo
Pastor toyanzege Pastor ensonga tugitegedde bulungi. Do you mirror a rotten society?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
If what you're doing is natural, do you intend to have kids?
I do.
Because the essence of a man living with a woman is to reproduce.
What's all this about children and all that stuff? First of all, we cannot even support the population that we have right now. I might be able to support my own, but with all, the inequalities in this country, why would I want to bring, someone to be part of that? So if I want to have a child, I can have a child.
So gay people are not bent on reproducing.
It's not about that.
Why do we find so many going into adoption?
There are so many people who have children, so many gay people who have children. I don't know why there's this whole notion that we cannot have children, we do not want children.
How can you get children?
Can we just not...
Biologically, please. We're
can
not
get children.
vulgarizing the show, but I want you to tell me how you can get a child when you're interfacing or when you're having intercourse with a fellow man or a fellow woman.
Is there only one way to have children? Is there only one way?
Yes, there is.
Really?
Yes, there is.
So
Which
what
other way?
do people who cannot, for instance, who are barren or sterile, how do they get children? How do they raise children?
Is that the way we should go?
I'm not saying that. It's a diverse world. There are so many different things that are there. There are options for people who cannot biologically give birth for them to be able to raise families. So why not?
Tell me, what do you think of Chris Mubiru?
Chris Mubiru...
And his orgies that were captured on camera.
Well, that is his stuff. What do I think about him? I don't know what his orientation is.
Do we look at him as a homosexual?
Mistakenly, you guys do look at him as a homosexual. But and you do that because he's practicing anal sex. I was telling someone earlier that not every gay person has anal sex. There are so many who do not. It's what Chris, whatever is being alleged of what Chris has done or is doing that has been splashed all over the papers. Personally, if the people that the allegations has in the papers are minors, I will hunt for Chris myself. But these allegations, and I don't know if the people he's been engaging with are actually minors.
Do you feel sorry for his orientation?
I don't know what his orientation is, but as a human being, I think he needs.
He practices sodomy.
Well, for me, that I don't think that is an orientation. It's what he practices. I do not know what his orientation is, and I want to focus on the way that the reports have been coming out. You say he's sodomizing children, but you don't even care to protect the child's identity. That is totally absurd, and I'm actually uncomfortable talking about this issue for those reasons, because I do not want to keep giving it the platform.
Do you realize that you've received overwhelming moral disapproval from society?
Absolutely, I do.
And you're ready to stick on?
Absolutely. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here on this show.
Why? Why would you stick on?
Because this is who I am, and I need to talk about it. There's so many people who are like me, who have been pushed. You know, they are so oppressed they cannot speak for themselves. And if I can do that, why not take the opportunity to do so and try to create, you know, the kind of awareness to try and make people understand who we are. It will keep going on, but I'm not going to give up.
Why wouldn't you support the likes of Honorable Bahati in their zeal to restore morality in society?
What kind of morality are you trying to install in society if you're actually trying to deviate from that thing that you claim you're trying to protect, which is the family? Earlier on, I mentioned something about tolerance, that Uganda, Africans generally have a tolerant nature, yeah? But that is being taken away from us. We are not fighting for that. Why? Why are we choosing this thing? There's corruption, there's theft, there's a lot of murders, there's a lot of defilement, and all those things. This is like, really on a scale.
You feel the fuss over homosexuality is uncalled for? Uncalled for,
totally. Totally. This whole attention that it's getting. You know, I've spoken to people. You've talked of moral disapproval, but I've talked to border men when I've gotten a chance, when they're not chasing me. And they're like, you know, they seem to be objective about issues that affect this country. I've spoken to someone that I can buy maybe tomato from, and they are totally not in agreement with the likes of Sempas, with the Bahatis. It's sort of, it's some group, you know, it's some group in leadership that is trying to push the society to believe that this is the #1 issue for this country.
Is it
and
true,
that is not true.
Is it true that fighting for gay rights is a lucrative business for you?
It is not a business. Seriously, Simon, why would I, with all the insults that Sempa has been hurling at me on air, why would I be in this? Just because I'm a gay person, I should not wear a nice suit. I should not wear things that I desire.
Yeah, because society doesn't approve of whatever you're doing at the moment.
What do you mean? So I shouldn't be dressed because of that?
Legally, is there any legal justification for homosexuality?
I told you I'm a human rights defender. And I see Pastor Sempa has come here. When I agreed to come to this show, I spoke to you.
I'm sorry, it's just storming.
No, he cannot just storm in. So if he storms in, I storm out. Thanks for your time. I cannot go on with this debate
Before
anymore.
you go, do you recognize these things?
Pepe, I'm sorry, can you give me a minute?
Pepe, do you recognize some of these things here? These are some of the things they use. I want to give you evidence. You see,
Pastor, aren't you being too harsh to these people? Why
no,
for once can't you relax and then think about the pain they go through as society ostracizes them?
Kansoke nkubulire lwaki adduse. Njagala olabe ebintu bino, obiraba bino. Ebintu bino ze karoti ze bakozesa. Okiwulira? Bakozesa karoti zino ne befu oyo omuwala gw'olabye. Alowooza nti musajja. She thinks she's a man. But she does not have the equipment to be a man. So what do? To be able to try and penetrate the other person, they use carrots. Bakozesa carrot. Ochirap. Bakozesa amatoke.
I think you're being a little vulgar.
No. Bakozesa mbogoya. Bakozesa bino bichukamba. Nze mbadde mulago. I am a counselor. For many years I counsel people like her. When I counsel them, I discovered that they have problems. Some of the problems is when you use something like this. So when you use something like this and you put it inside you, you rip your urinary tract areas. When they put it inside there behind, ngabolaba Chris Mubiru. Abana bayulika chetuva tukiita okuvuga olupanga.
But this is a disorder, right? If it's a disorder,
yes.
Do you feel you're handling it the right way?
Yes.
Or you're being too aggressive, too harsh on them?
No. You see, first of all, we have the good Bible that tells us, even the Quran tells us that this is an evil. Tuchimanyi nti ekintu kino kikyamu. Bible yakiyita kibi. Era netubuulira nti mu mulembe ogujja waliwo abagenda okuvaayo nga te beekubaki beepika ate nga beeteekamu ki amaanyi. Kati oyo omuwala omanyi ssente z'alina. Omuwala oyo alina ssente empya n'enkadde. Bw'ogenda ku Facebook ye bali mu kunywa emyenge, bali mu kulya, bali mu pate, tebakoowa. Nze kambabuulira ate ekira tuyina n'olugendo mu Luganda ewaffe. Nze ndi musajja Muganda. Nti ow'ebbanga bw'otamuwemukira teweebikka. Kali bajja wano ne batandika okwambaza laba ayambadde obugoye obulungi. Owulidde? Ayambadde obugoye obulungi, ayambadde suuti, naye si musajja mwana muwala. Ekibuzaabuza nti olaba ekyana, olaba omuwala omulungi. Naye ate kubanga Mukama yamutonda muwala ki? Mulungi mutunuulire. Kyana. Naye ate yeefuula omusajja.
His claim is he's biologically fated to be a woman.
What makes him...
I'm glad Pepe is back.
I'm glad she has got...
Can you shake hands before we proceed?
Of course. How are you, Pepe? Nsaba Mukama amaanyi go gayingira omwana wa fono.
Pastor, no.
Kamusabire ko lwaza yagala.
No. Pastor, let's maintain civility on the show. Let's maintain civility. Let's maintain civility. Pastor Sempa argues that these are the instruments you use.
These are vegetables.
Yes.
Bino.
I eat this on my plate.
You eat them on your plate?
Yes.
You don't use them when you're having carnal knowledge?
Absolutely no, and Sempa should stop misinforming the public.
Kati ono alimba. Me, I'm a counselor. I've counseled many of these. First of all, they start in secondary school.
Why don't you start with counseling other than being confrontational to this young man?
This one is an evangelist. This is a missionary of Sodomy. Ono muminsani. Owulira, ono muminsani yakulembera ekibondo kyabwe. Era gamba Uganda Africa Sodomy Association ono yakikulembera balina budget ya million ya namunya eza $. Amasuuti olowooza gano ga sente agajja mu wino.
Can you justify that? Just a second. Can you justify? Let me give him a chance to respond. Pepe.
Just translate what
Pepe,
stuff is saying.
You are paid heavily to promote homosexuality in Uganda. What's your reaction?
It is not true. He claims I have a lot of money, I'm wearing fancy clothes and all that stuff. I do not even earn the amount of money he thinks. I do not even earn $100 a month or even annually. I do not make the money that he thinks that we make. I'm talking
just a second,
talking about promotion of homosexuality, recruitment and all those things. They do not exist. It's just the pastors and his group, their propaganda. Just to stop debate like this.
Yes. Do you believe that there's been sexual abuse in this country propagated by yourselves as human rights promoters? This guy is as human rights promoters.
Just ask the question again.
Do you believe that there's been sexual abuse, actually sodomy, unleashed towards kids, towards underage children, and towards the vulnerable?
Propagated by my work.
Yes.
There is no such thing.
What's your work? What's your work? What does your work entail?
It entails advocacy around sexual orientation and gender identity. And this includes making sure that people that people access health services, they access education, they access, like the so-called normal Ugandans. We advocate for every person to be treated the same. Not because I am a transgender person, you treat me differently. We're all Ugandans and we are protected.
Do you need counseling?
The Constitution. I do not need counseling.
Okay, Sebo, let me help you, sir.
I do not need counseling.
I'm glad she's talking about for everyone. No, it's a she. You see, this one is a banana.
Don't abuse someone's sex.
I know her.
This gentleman is a transgender.
She's a female. There are no two. It is either male or female. Let me first tell you, sodomy is about confusion. Now, I want to bring you to speed. This person is confused, and she's exporting her confusion. She's a woman, but she's thinking, excuse me, Phil, I've given you a chance. You see, a banana is different from a cucumber. A carrot is different from a banana. I want you to understand. You cannot equate. No, these are not equal. So for you to say we are advocating for everyone's right. When you are a sodomite, you are committing a crime. And a crime that makes you social, excuse me.
They have a right.
No. You have a social obligation. This is a truth. You have a social obligation when you commit a crime. If you knock someone, you commit a crime. So for you to come and say, we want to advocate for anyone's right, criminals and innocent people, they are not the same. Men and women are not the same.
Now, Pastor, so have you been affected by what they do?
Of course.
How?
I am at Makerere. These people have begun several organizations. First of all, the Americans and the Europeans are putting a lot of money in the Faculty of Law to train people like this one in how to come and speak. Now she's going to go back and ask for money. Again, I follow you ardently on your Facebook. I follow you ardently.
Thank you.
So I'm not uninformed. This one is part of Sexual Minorities Uganda. Part of their groups, when they get pregnant, they chase them away. I've been counseling about 5 girls who, because when the lesbians get pregnant, then they come and tell me what is going on. Their life is full of misery. Pate after pate. She can never have children.
You love what you do, don't you?
I absolutely love my work, yes.
Of course.
And you're protected by the Constitution.
Yes, I am protected by the Constitution.
Where's the constitutional provision that promotes homosexuality in this country?
I told you it's not homosexuality.
What is
I
it?
do human rights. Protect life.
You ask sodomy, she said human rights. We say sodomy, she said gay. We ask Ebisiyaga, she says sexual minorities. Confusion of the highest order. So what they do is they cover Bapakirechi. The baptismal name for that word is sodomy. But they are giving themselves a new name. Sexual minorities.
You know,
Pastor,
human
Semper,
rights.
you
by virtue of your
confuse
calling,
Sodom.
by
Yes.
You
virtue of your
confuse
calling, you're
sexual-
a pastor.
Yes.
You're meant to heal these people,
Yes.
not to confront them, aren't you?
No, Bible says open rebuke is better than secret love. This girl needs to be told she's a
This
girl.
man,
No, this young girl needs to be told she's a woman, not a man. The longer you continue on addressing her as sa, nawe otandika okulimbibwa ono mwana muwala. Era singa manyi n'ab'ekika kye. What tribe are you, by the way? Olaba tamanyi na ggwanga lye. What clan are you? Tachimanyi asirise. Do you have fathers and grandfathers?
Of course it does.
Tachimanyi tayagala kiddamu kimuswaza. What is your tribal name?
What's
Laba, sokoleke.
Pastor,
Mubaddugavu,
I'm hosting the show.
Yes, in the black people, we have ancestors and descendants. The living today provide grandchildren for our ancestors. This young woman is denying her members of the family a chance to have children. In
Pastor.
Africa, that is so bad.
Pastor, if he's not come to your son or daughter, why don't you let them be?
No, you see, in Africa, we don't go with what I do is what I feel. I am because I am. In Africa, I am because we are. We are a community. We always ask oyo mwana wani. Kadi mubuziza oli mwana wani. Kimulemye okuddamu.
Pastor, you were recently convicted of blackmailing your fellow pastor.
Mubuziza ono mwana wani. Kade ekyo sagana kyogerako. Olw'ensonga lwaki onatuula wa n'abeera ng'ayogera ebisiyaga ne batamukwata. Ssente etambula wansi ne waggulu. Bayina Obama, bayina David Cameron, bayina abazungu bonna abebuli ono bamuwa ekirabo kyo Clinton.
You are awarded. Is it true?
Awarded Clinton. Yes. Bali awo beegabire ssente n'ebirawo byotala ono alina visa agenda America lwa bisiyaga. Cynthia alina kyakoze ekyamaanyi wabula kola ki kulya bisiyaga ono bamuwa
them as minorities.
She's being given a medal. Minorities, what is minorities? Please, I want don't you see now we bakubuzabuziza
People with some sort of sexual
no
deviation.
minorities.
Yes.
Minorities, they are trying to say majorities
Give
and
me an opportunity
minorities.
to speak.
You cannot equate, okay, a carrot with a banana. And I want this young woman to explain to you.
Let's give him a chance.
What does she use for sex? What do they use for sex? What do you use? What do you use for sex? As a man,
Stop
this
insulting
one,
my food.
You see,
Semper.
they don't even want to talk about it.
Okay, let's hear from him.
Let's
Let's hear from Pepe. Pepe, I
Why
need your
don't you
reaction.
respect yourself,
no,
Semper?
how do
Pastor,
you?
can you become for now?
No.
Can you become? Let him respond.
Okay, I'll
Let
put
him
these ones
respond
here.
to you.
I'll put these
Okay.
ones here to see if she will answer.
Pepe, you hear the sense of rage that's coming in
that
from
is- that
Pastor
is Africa.
Semper
Africa.
and several other Africans who believe that their culture is being eroded by your human rights advocacy.
It is not being eroded. I told you earlier, we are generally a tolerant society. And when I see people like Martin Semper, so disrespectful, so outraged, so, you know,
We are outraged.
I am so disappointed
Get over it.
that
Sodom has
that
no room in
someone
Africa.
like this
Pastor, hold on.
is respected.
Pastor, he gave you a chance to speak.
see,
So
Okay, go ahead.
So to have people like this lead our society,
Yes.
mislead our society,
This is us.
really appalling.
Get over it.
You know, my family
this
supports
is not
me.
San Francisco.
This is
not
Uganda.
New York.
And let me
This
tell you,
is
Semper,
Uganda.
I am not going anywhere.
Have you looked at Chris Mubiru's footage?
I have seen the red paper stuff, yes.
You've
I have.
discussed
How
it
did you
online.
feel? How did you feel?
I know how you.
I was
discussed it.
outraged.
You're outraged.
You said, Mama,
Why
never
were you
took food
outraged?
there.
Me?
Yes.
I
On your
choose-
discussion.
I choose
I
not
can
to
pull
go-
it up. Can I pull up your Facebook?
Please
right
do,
now?
please
Let
do.
me pull up your
Please
Facebook
do,
and
because
tell you
you
what they
are
discussing.
lying to the entire
Let
country.
me bring it up. Let me bring
You
it
are
up.
lying to the entire country, Semper.
I'm watching you discussing. Mbutufu
You
there.
might be so
when
vocal.
Chris Mubiru
yeah?
came out,
You
I
might
want
be
to
so
bring
vocal.
up her Facebook. Julia Pepe Onzima.
And
She
that's
said,
not
"Mama,
that's
tufu
not
there."
that's not
Okay,
my
Pastor,
name.
Pastor,
And those are not the
Pastor.
things that I use to do that.
The
I was
cause
outraged.
for this show
Yeah?
was to discuss the pros and cons of this kind of advocacy. Today, rather recently, we had President Museveni saying that these people can go on for as long as they do not recruit or promote. What do you make of the president's
You see,
statement?
the president is being pressurized. Me, for 3 years, they have opened court cases against me. They have spoken evil against me. They have
We
called
do not
me.
have a court case against
They
you,
threaten
Senator.
death.
We
I've
don't.
received death threats. Americans want to bomb me. When you are alone, they harass you. So President Museveni has been harassed for 3 years. You remember when they had a wedding in Wandegea? What did he say? We will shoot, we will arrest them, we will shoot them. They began pampering him and campaigning him. 2-3 years later, when this bill came up, when they harassed, they said, go slow. All the NRM said, no, Mr. President.
But we have an existing legal framework in this country.
Wait. Now, he goes, you see Amama Mbabazi goes to Italy, okay? Rebecca Kadaga goes to
Vatican.
Canada. When they come back, Rebecca said, no, we neither retreat, we no surrender. But Amama Mbabazi said, government will not support it. You see what is happening? They are pressurizing individuals. But you see, we have clans. We have 5,000 years of known history. In all my history, I have never had in my clan, nze ndi wanchima. Ochiwulira? Tuyina amateeka agatuvuga. Tumala gagamba mu human rights. Mubuuziza jjajjawe yani. Tasobola muddamu kuba kimuswaza. Ochiwulira?
I'm not ashamed of where I come from.
You can't even answer it. Mubuuziza bino bikime mwekozesa. Tasobola biddamu. Ochiwulira? Ali mu luzunguzungu. Nze kankubuulire muganda wange.
Do you have gadgets that you use during intercourse?
No, I don't.
Okay. Do your colleagues have gadgets they use during
I
intercourse?
don't know. That's their private life. I do not
Tell
know.
the truth.
When you saw Chris Mubiru sodomizing, did you feel that's normal for a man to have intercourse with a fellow man?
I did not see Chris Mubiru sodomizing. I saw pictures in the red paper of allegations of him sodomizing a minor. And I told you earlier, I am totally against abuse of children.
We have videos, but they are rather gothic. I wouldn't show them on TV. They are horrible.
Of the person's sex.
You see,
I am against child molestation, any kind of exploitation.
What if there
I
were
said
two adults? What if there were two adults?
That is what they do in their privacy.
be okay.
That's
That
okay.
theirs.
Is that okay?
For me, what happens between two adults behind their closed doors is none of my business.
Otio,
So in your advocacy, what exactly do you do?
recruitment.
You've asked that like 3 times.
Yes. And I need to hear this again.
Can the pastor shut up while I say this?
Yes,
Because he's
yes.
been interrupting and probably you did not
He's
get
quiet.
it.
Pastor is quiet. Pastor, will you be quiet?
I am
so
outraged.
what will you do? Rather, what do you do in your advocacy work?
I told you, we talk about the advocacy is on the rights of human beings regardless of their sexual orientation and gender identity. We have reports of people who have been molested within their own homes, by their own parents, by their own family members, because they are different. So those kinds of rights are the rights that we protect, that when you're in your home, you deserve that family affection and protection from your family. And the law also protects against defilement, against rape, against all these violations that are there. That is what we work towards, seeing that every person is equal in front.
How come
and
society
before
is not
the law.
compassionate towards you?
Well, because there are people like Martin Semper who keep preaching this,
please,
and
please,
you
please.
give them
I
a
want
lot of
to-
platform
Sir,
to keep
excuse
promoting
me, she spent
their
1 hour
agenda.
here. I want to bring this issue. I'm surprised Julie does not get on her knees and repent to the whole public on behalf of their member, Chris Mubiru.
Is Mubiru part of you?
I do not know his orientation. I told you earlier.
You see, they are denying.
don't know.
Let
Have
me-
you conducted a census to know who belongs to you and who doesn't?
But are you repeating these questions for the
You
benefit
see, it
of
is
the pastor
embarrassing.
or what?
Please, it is embarrassing.
Because I answered
Sebo,
all
let-
these
let me
things
res-
long time
Sebo, let
ago.
me answer.
I
Let me
did.
tell you. You see what is happening? These people come here and they tell us that what they do is something that is normal. Okay? They try to equate heterosexuality with homosexuality as if it's vanilla and ice cream of chocolate. They are not. I want to tell you that using a gadget, which is why she's afraid.
Why are you so
Most of, you see,
with
she said,
sex?
you see, these are facts. They want to discuss it in
Between
words. But I want you to
people.
know, what is your level of education, by the way?
I'm not answering you.
Okay, you see, she doesn't know. Let me tell you the concept of ontology and epistemology. Epistemology is the science of knowing about something. Ontology is the science of knowing something. When you discuss sodomy, in its ontological reality is the whatness. What is the substance? And when you advocate for something, you have to know what it is before you promote it. Now, people need to know ekisiyaga chechi, because abantu baffe tebamanyi na chi bakozesa lupanka. Ekisiyaga kye twogerako ye musajja, excuse me, let me finish. Ekisiyaga, no, you see, whenever I go there, she gets uncomfortable.
I'm not uncomfortable. I am not uncomfortable.
Pastor,
This is why.
I invited Mr. Onzima.
For you, me, I'm a counselor. I know sheep. Let me come. I want to tell you what homosexuals do. She doesn't want to talk about the privacy of their bedroom, where HIV spreads. You know that 70% of all homosexual men
even
have
heterosexuals
HIV.
have HIV.
No, listen. 70% of all the homosexual men in sub-Saharan Africa, research by the Lancet magazine 2 years ago shows that they have 60 to 70% HIV, and normal heterosexual men are about 7%. When you are homosexual, you have more chance of experiencing death from HIV than a normal person. Why? When you take a man, this is a man's genital, and you insert them into the intestine, okay, they put their genitals into the excretory system. This excretory system is not designed to receive. It is only for exit. Kino ekyenda bwe bakikulusanya ne kiyulika ne kitirika omusaayi ne kiryoka kitambuza obulwadde. That is for men. For women, what they do is they begin their sexual acts, because she does not have the equipment. They begin to use their lips. So the mouth is used to lick the other person. That's number one. It created orogonorrhea. Many lesbians have orogonorrheas, orosyphilis. Number two, because they don't have the equipment, they begin to use gadgets like bananas. They use carrots. They use bananas. They use cucumbers and other metallized ones, and they put them inside themselves. Because they are not normal. Bitandika okuyuza n'abaana zaabwe. Kati ono otandika okulaba. Batandika okumira n'empeke. But let me first finish. In Mulago today, I have been in Mulago for the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, but he's a transgender for 6 years and he's not had any effect.
People like her being patched up. Baba tunge mabega. Baba tunga bunda. Baba salamu nabana.
I wish you
ono yayina
on
amabere.
here.
No, they don't want to enter into the bwino. Kankujireyo bwino. Bamire empeke. Kati ona amire empeke. Empeke zunestandiko munyiganyiga. Owulira. Empeke ezirimu obusajja testosterone. Okiwulira. That is why you begin to see someone begins to change. Mwana muwala na yakyuka. Amabere bagasalako. Owulira. Ne bakatono bw'omukebera oyinza okusanga yayina amabere ne bagenda South Africa ne bagenda wa ne bagasalako. They cut off their breasts to look like. Then you see a girl who looks like, dressed like a man, and it confuses you. For Europeans, ekyo kye bakubira engalo. I want you to know
why do Europeans condone it and we condemn it in Africa?
Because you see, for us it is a human vice. For them they are calling it a human right. It's a human vice. For them it's a human right. They call it a human right defender. Yesterday, the European Union ambassador to African Union donated 1.8 million European euros for these ones. Every day Baba was sent. Finally, I want to tell you, in Buganda, the first man and woman is called Nambi Nechintu.
Pastor, before you go there, you've made
Nambi and Chintu was a homosexual.
You've made several allegations.
That is why for Europeans, homosexuality.
Pepe, you have the platform. Pepe, you have the platform. Without being interrupted by Pastor, medically, does being gay have any adverse effects?
Every sexual contact, if you expose yourself, if you risk yourself, be it heterosexual or homosexual, there will definitely be a risk that you've exposed yourself to. It's not limited to homosexuals. That cuts across. He's been claiming, making claims and allegations about HIV/AIDS spreading. how it's mostly among
Homosexuals.
homosexuals. It's not true.
It's a gay disease. Get over it.
It's not true, Sempa. You
you.
know that.
Pastor,
You know
relax.
that.
Pastor,
It's
relax.
not true.
Yes.
Go ahead and expose your ignorance.
It's just, actually, it's your ignorance.
No, you
it's,
go
it's,
ahead.
it's,
What
it's,
are the
it's limited.
statistics?
I'm not going to talk about
You
statistics.
don't know.
I know.
When you
Sempa.
don't have data,
I am not going
keep
to go
quiet.
back and forth.
But
with
when
you.
we have data, let us talk.
Now, the
What do you
final
know?
question.
That
The
is not
final
data.
question.
It is-
Pepe,
it is not
Pepe, how do you want society to perceive you?
As a human being, as a person who is part of this society, I give
But
to this
society has rejected you.
It has not rejected me. It is the propaganda
No,
of the
we have
likes of Sempa.
What is your
my,
clan?
My
What
family
is your clan?
loves me as I am.
What is your clan?
Actually, even right now,
What is your
they are
tribe?
supporting
Would your
me.
parents...
your
I
clan?
choose not to tell you, Sempa. I choose
Onzima,
not to tell you.
Onzima,
I'm
would your
not
parents...
not
Onzima,
embarrassed.
no,
I'm not embarrassed.
Pastor, hold
I
it,
am
Pastor,
very
hold it,
proud
hold
of where
it,
I
please.
come from.
Pastor, rather, Pepe,
I cannot believe you put me on a show with a hooligan.
Pepe,
You see,
would your parents
you are
attend a
insulting me
wedding
because I'm telling you the truth.
where
They
you
would.
are with a person of the same sex?
A person I love,
What
a person
tribe?
who cares about me, yes.
How
As
did your
I am
parents
here,
feel?
let me tell you, Simon, as I am here, my family supports me.
We don't know
Supports
the-
me,
Oya
so
limba. Tetulina
I am
linya.
here.
Tetulina
Are
gwanga.
they supporting a
I have
disorder?
a name.
What is the tribe?
I refuse to tell you. I
Okay,
refuse to tell you.
Pastor, this anti-gay activism.
No, me, I'm not an anti-gay. Me, I'm anti-sodomy. Nagano kulimbibwa. Gay is being happy. Me, I'm gay. I'm happy. But this is the confusion. They say to be a sodomite is to be happy. No, me, I'm anti-sodomy. Then wanyisa bisiyaga. Sirwanyisa abantu basanyufu.
And I'm anti-sexual violence.
Takyabala tasobola kyogera.
Which is talking
Ekyokubiri
about.
kankubuulire.
There, when it comes to violence,
Kankubuulire.
we're on the same page.
Why don't you fight for heteros as well?
What do you mean?
Heterosexuals.
What do you mean? Fight for
Takimanyi na
heterosexuals.
kimanya.
Why
What do you
wouldn't
mean fighting for
for their
heterosexuals?
rights? Yeah, for their rights.
They are so. I am a human rights defender.
What
I'm
is
not
that?
limited.
Sodomy
I am not
defender.
limited.
You
I
are
am
an
not
activist
limited.
for LGBTI.
I am an
Lesbians,
activist.
gays,
Bisexual, abo bonna
transgender,
bagwagwa.
and intersexuals.
Ono yabakwatira
Let me tell
bendera.
you something.
Where's the H?
Human
Bo
rights.
bakwatira
I
bendera.
told you earlier. I am a human rights
Abagwagwa bonna
activist.
ono yabakwatira bendera.
For this group, there are different people who work on different things. Like he does something different, you know.
Naye
I do
tokimanyi
something
HIV
different.
tomuyinako
You
data.
see. So, it's a human right for human beings to coexist with each other.
Do you have
Sebo,
hope that someday
please,
society will get to appreciate you?
Absolutely.
thank
I'm
you.
very
So it is my chance,
optimistic.
Sebo. No,
I
but
am
don't
very
forget chance.
optimistic.
Finally, yes.
I
I'm
want to
very
tell you one,
optimistic.
we are dealing with a girl who thinks she's a
A
boy.
gentleman.
That is number one.
Treat him as a gentleman.
Symptom number one of gender identity disorder. If you parents are there and you have a girl who thinks she's a boy, okay, that is a sickness. You need to guide them and bring them for counseling. Number two, I'll give you my phone number at the end, 0772 641028. Number two, she does not have a tribe. So there is a lack of pride in who she is. An African by nature realizes that we have a history. We began with Chintu and Nambi. By the grace of God, we have reached here. And we who are living at the bridge between the past and the future, we must bear children. Fetuino okuzaala abaana. Kati ono omwana tamanyi ggwanga lye.
By choice.
No.
It's by choice that someone should have a child.
No.
Exactly.
No, let
It's
me
by
tell you,
choice.
kankikubuulire.
You cannot
Wuliriza.
force people to have children.
No. Kati
And
ono
that
ta-
is not-
ezo mpisa zaffe ng'abaddugavu era kambabuulire ntekamu kamera wano mbabuulire ffe ng'abaana b'abaddugavu abasajja ba Ssaabasajja Kabaka ono simanyi gy'ava owulira singa waliyo amanyi omwana ono oba omukulu w'ekika twetaaga tumukuŋŋaanye era nkubira omulanga oyo Gaabunga akulembera ekika ky'Emmamba twetaaga okukuŋŋaana abaana bano ono mubiru kati ono tamanyi na Luganda oyo mubiru aswazizza ekika ky'Emmamba nga bwe tugamba mu Luganda nti omulya mmamba abeera omu n'avumaganya ekika omulya kisiyaga abeera ogu n'avumaganya ki ekisiyaga kati Buganda eyina okuvaayo eyogere ffe ffenna kati ne bana abalabirira omwana ono mutuyambe kubanga karoti zino muziraba amatooke gano ge beesonseka bino bikyukamba bye beesonseka abazungu ne babakubira akagombe nti buli baakabi Clinton n'abawa award bannanga abaana batugendako era namwe abakola bividiyo ba musicians mulekeraawo keko ani mbayita muveeyo mutwegatteko okulwanyisa Chameleone Bobby Wine
The final one. Don't you think you need to interface so that?
No, I have to pray for this young woman as I read the scripture for her. My daughter, I want to read for you a scripture.
No. I should take charge of this.
No, I want to read for her.
No. He's not ready. He's not ready to listen to you. No. I'm afraid, Pastor. No. I'm afraid you're not going to do this because my guest is not comfortable. No. Well, on that note, we thank you very much. That's all we have for you. Good morning. The morning breeze continues. All right. On that note, we wind up and that ends the show.
Tujja basabira tubagobemu emizimu gyonna.